everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Queen's Wish, the Conqueror! Last episode, we began the game and basically spoke with our brother, sister, and mother to find out that the entire purpose of this game is basically your parent going, "You've lived under my roof your whole life, it's time to stop being a lazy bum, get out of my house, get a job, and do something with your life, you freaking millennial." So, she's kicking us out to a foreign world. As far as I can tell, this is where we're going, the continent of Sacramentum. Said there were 3 lands here that we need to speak with, and we're going to show up in one of our forts. I think I see what they mean. It looks like that's probably a fort symbol, so there's one there and there, there's one there and there, and there's one there and there. I'm going to have to rebuild those. Looks like there's 2 towns in Abriel, and a tower, and a cave. Oh, there's another one there and there. Okay, those must be gates leading into each of the areas. Ukat has some towns. Home Warren, I don't know what that is. And a cave. And the Vol has 2 small towns, 2 large towns, and a cave. Okay, so we've got mountainous. That might be, foresty, and that one I'm not sure. And we've got the central area, and we probably have to get to Greyport. Alright, well, let's enter the portal. Huh. You stumble through this dusty room trying to clear your head. Magical teleportation is infamous for causing dizziness and splitting headaches. You regain your senses and look around. You are in a fort. The walls are rough wood. This is a prison. Posts with chains line the walls, waiting for prisoners awaiting judgment. It is late at night and mostly quiet. And there's nothing up here but a bed. Okay, I guess we go out then. You emerge and get a look at the rest of the fort. You've landed in the right place. Soldiers of Haven built this place. However, most of the buildings have crumbled or have been torn down for firewood. They'll have to be rebuilt. There are no people in sight. You hear a shout. Something is happening to the northeast. Okay, northeast is where I guess we need to go. You need to get permission from the chief of this fort before you can order for buildings to be rebuilt. Okay. Well, let's look around. Let me guess. You start to leave the fort, then you reconsider. It's a foreign hostile land and you are alone. Maybe the chief of the fort can provide you with an escort to fight beside you. I see that must be the main hall, so that's probably where we're going to need to go. This is clearly the fort. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of buildings that we'll be able to rebuild. I guess that's what the point of this fort is. Empty room over here. And upstairs is an empty room. For a fort, there really isn't much of anything here, is there? Like I said, I see a... Oh, no, I just wanted to... Okay. That looks like a north exit. There's a lot of buildings here that can be rebuilt, repurposed. So there's really going to be a lot here. This is going to be interesting on the rebuilding of... on the side of rebuilding a fort. Okay, that's the central hall. Said there was something here, so let's go. The main hall of this fort remains standing. Old and worn down, but intact. The chief of the fort stands out front, her back to the door, sword drawn. She is facing 2 brigands, shaggy brutes in leather jerkins stalking her, daggers out. One of them says, "We know you've been giving payments to Brandon. The rusty barb will have its share, Miranda." You have never been too involved in the ways of heaven, but it is hard to see this treatment of your soldier and not be annoyed. Watch and listen. One of the brigands points a dagger at the chief. "We told you, we need gold and food. Pay now or lose everything." The chief holds her sword steady. "Haven is gone, but they will return. We will not be robbed." Clear your throat. The brigand doesn't hear you. He says to the chief, "Put that sword away. Even if you kill us, Conqueror will just send 20 more. And you know it! You clear your throat again. All three of them turn to look at you. I am Prince Rupert of Haven. The brigands are drunk or dumb. They don't believe you. Dangerous thing to pretend, kid. You might get us to kill you after we rob you. Chief Miranda does believe you. She is making some very quick mental calculations. I guess it's good I was able to warm up. Attack. As you lunge forward, Miranda attacks at the same time. She's the chief of the fort, a manager, not a fighter. Happily, she seems competent with a blade. That worked. That worked. The brigands are dead. Miranda gives each of them a good kick. And we'll see to Conqueror next! She turns to you, kneels, and bows her head. I don't want to presume, but I think you... Are you... I am Prince Rupert of Haven, yes, and I have been sent to help you. Chief Miranda rises, but her head stays bowed. I am so honored, and relieved. The colony here is a disaster, near total loss. Has help come at last? Yes, it is the Queen's order that this colony be reclaimed. Chief Miranda sighs in relief. Oh, at last. We always knew that our loyalty would be rewarded. Please, come to my office. I will tell you all you need to know for this great work. Gossip of all you do will spread around the colony and find its way back to the Queen. For example, what you just said will make Havenites trust you more. Your words will affect how other characters treat you. Lead on. She rises, turns, and enters the main hall. Okay. In combat. Actually, how far can I move? Oh! I can only move 5 points at a turn. Okay. Well, let's go into the main hall. It's the only building still standing. This building is old and worn. It may be the very first structure of Haven's colony in Sacramentum. Interesting trivia for the historians. The portal chamber is to the left. You see Chief Miranda waiting in her office to the right. Best of all, your butler, Stonehouse, is waiting by the stairs. He was sent ahead of you. At least you'll have some comfort while you're here. Leave the building? Okay. Let's talk to Stonehouse first. Among all the miseries of being sent to Sacramentum, there is one bright spot. Stonehouse, your butler since you were a small child, has been sent to look after you. He looks as mournful as always. Hello, young prince. As always, I await your command. Stonehouse, you came with me. I'm so glad. Of course, prince. When your brother flung me through the portal, I thought of nothing but my duty. We need to save this colony. It'll be a grand adventure. Oh, lovely. I am an enormous fan of adventures. Alas, if none of those adventures involve giving your mother what she wants, we may die of old age here. No more than I deserve, I suppose. Any messages for me? Not at the moment. I have a job for you. Your mother sent me to tend to your needs. There is a certain image Haven's envoys need to project when dealing with our vassals. How may I be of service? That's all I need for now. But I do need some information. You have always used Stonehouse as a conduit to find out what your family and the lower classes are thinking. You can get a variety of information from him. Are we making progress bringing civilization to this backwater? Not yet. Right now, I am still assembling the basic cleaning supplies. I don't want you to die of cholera before you have the chance to save Haven. What does my mother think of me? I am unable to determine either way. You have not acted decisively for or against the interests of Haven. What do the people of Sacramentum think of me? Same thing. You have not acted particularly kind or cruel. How am I progressing in reclaiming this colony? Your work has barely begun. You should speak with Chief Miranda and learn how to rebuild this fort. That is all. Come check in with me again later. I'm sure I will have more to tell you as events develop. That is all then. I am so happy to have been of help. Thank you, Stonehouse. I'm sure you will be of much help. Miranda gestures for you to enter. I am sorry to be eager, Prince. This is a day of great events. Before we killed them, the deserters told me something. You will need to know about it, I think. I believe there's much I will need to know. Miranda invites you to sit in her least dirty chair. Stonehouse enters and prepares tea as you speak. As I said, the brigands told me something before the stabbing. Some news. Glorious news! For someone who just slaughtered 2 thugs, she is in a good mood. The chief here clearly tends to optimism. Are you alone here? Not entirely. There are a few warriors left in Fort Haven. It's just that none of them are in the fort right now. I'm sort of glad you arrived when you did. There are things I need to know. Of course, I will help if I can. I need to go home. How do I do this? Usually we take boats, but you need the Queen's permission, and it is a long journey. You can also restore the portal home. Sage Harlan upstairs can tell you more. Where is everybody? This fort is a ruin. Gone. Fled. When the land soured and the nations of this land turned against us, many took ships home. Others built their own forts and looked after themselves. Others deserted and became brigands. But now that you are here, all of this will be put to right. Describe the resources available to me. Right now? Nothing. We don't even have the wood and stone needed to rebuild our fort. I'm hoping the ships that just arrived will provide what we need. I believe they will. That is all I need to know for now. I hope I helped. Back to the mission, then? What is the new news? Ships! At last, 3 boats have come from Haven. They wait just offshore at Greatport to the north. They can't land, alas. The brigands have taken the port, and they have siege weaponry pointed out to sea. Wait, they arrived today? How long does it take for a boat to get here from Haven? About 3 months, with good weather. 3 months. Is that how long your mother has been planning to send you here? What is on the ships? I don't know, but I dream. Warriors, wood, and stone, alchemists, and artisans. Everything we need to make this a proper colony again. Why don't they land at another port? There is no other friendly port. The Ukatish, the Vol, and the Ariel are pushing us out. We need some of the force of Haven to get them to obey the treaties again. I sense you want something from me. Before our ships can land, Greatport must be retaken. Difficult by sea, easy from land. Do that, and we can begin restoring the colony and reclaiming Sacramentum. And then we can escape, Stonehouse mutters quietly. If I'm to retake Greatport, I will need warriors. Of course. I have only 3 left, but they are all at your disposal. Your taking them will leave us undefended for a time. Marvelous. It is a necessary risk. Only 3 warriors? Oh, Prince, if we have had a very hard time of it here the last few years. Now that you have returned, though, we might be able to recruit more. End this conversation to learn how to recruit warriors and form your party. You will want to recruit 3 other characters to go with you on your adventure. Press the Edit Party button. With the check mark to the right of a character, press the check mark to the right of a character to add it to your group. You can also make new characters for your roster. If you build a fort in another nation, you'll be able to recruit characters from there. These will have new special abilities. No. Where's... I don't see... Is it elsewhere? Well, you found the portal home. That's the good news. The bad news is that it is closed. When you get close to the ruined stone doors, your hair stands up on end. You can hear whispers. However, it doesn't open. You can use it to speak to people back home if they listen. You won't be able to use it to get home until it is restored. Stonehouse will tell you when you can use the portal to talk to someone. Visit frequently. You can eventually restore it when you learn how to improve the fort. You walk up to the portal. Nothing happens. You give it a good kick. Nothing happens. Sometimes someone in Sharon's palace will use this portal to communicate with you. Nobody is at the other end right now. Come back later. I don't know where the Edit Party button is. I don't see it. Maybe it's... Oh, wait! Oh, these changed! Edit Party... There we go. We have Elspeth, Terrence, and Patricia. Okay, that's simple enough. What are these guys? You appear to be a warrior. You are a support. So you're a mage. Patricia is a mage. Okay, let me take a look at some of these abilities. So, combat-wise, we have here Brutal Blow, which does extra damage and causes bleeding. Blinding Bow, which does extra damage and weakens. And Steel Skin, which gives 20% resistance to bleeding, poison, stun, and mental effects. Okay? And it looks like as we improve things, we'll be able to use better... Spend at least one skill point in this tier to get this bonus. Okay. Tier 2 is Whirlwind Attack. Damage everyone around. Oh, I see what the extra thing is. Stunning Shot. Next attack with your weapon will stun your foe. And Fast Feint. Your next attack with your weapon is a Cunning Feint. You'll be faster and do more damage for several turns. Interesting. Okay, Tier 3 we have Knockback. Your next attack with your weapon will knock back and ensnare your foe. Okay. Shield Shatter. Your next attack with your weapon will do 25% extra damage and make your foe vulnerable. Okay. And Hardiness. Increases maximum health. And top tier we have Bull Rush, which is basically a closing move and stuns. Bludgeon Senseless. I like that name. Your next attack will slow, weaken, and confuse. And Terrifying Scream terrifies all enemies near you, causing them to flee. Okay. Magic abilities. We have Tier 1, we have Shock. Inflicts strong magical damage. Sure. Terror. Inflicts terror. And Magery. Gives 20% bonus to all healing, blessings, and curses. Tier 2, we have Icy Wave, magical damage in a cone-shaped area. That's good. Weakness, inflicts weakness on foes in a circular area. And Call Bones, summons a skeleton. Useful. Next we have Poison Rain, inflicts magical damage and poison in a circular area. Time Warp, slows enemies. Useful. And Raw Power, increases your maximum energy by 1 per 5 character levels. I have a feeling that would be very useful. I don't know how much energy we have. Fireball does considerable magical damage. That sounds useful. Shockwave damages and stuns enemies. And Build Construct creates a construct to fight for you. That would be useful. And then we have support. We have Tier 1. Healing, definitely something we need. Inspiring Cry blesses all allies within 6 spaces. And Hide in Shadows causes nearby enemies to be less likely to be angry at or attack you. Curing cures a single ally of poison, bleeding, of curses, and I swear that icon looks exactly like something that would be in WoW. Like, exactly. Exactly. But regardless, that's curing. Speed provides 12 turns of haste to one ally. That is very good. And Teleport. Teleports one character to a nearby spot. Okay. Healing Wave. Heal all allies. That's going to be very useful. Disruption. Removes 6 turns of blessings. Okay, I get that. Dispel magic, basically. And Haste, which hastes you by 10%. Oh, that's always active. Oh, that's useful. And this is a 10% bonus to speed. Restoring Rain heals all allies within 6 spaces and cures. Battle Frenzy hastes and blesses all allies within 6 spaces. And Silence. Silence is a foe, can't use abilities. And we're the only ones with cultural abilities right now. Haven's Might hastes and blesses everyone around me. Haven's Mercy powerfully heals and cures. And Haven Command gives a damage bonus to our allies. So we have Elspeth, who is kind of similar to us, except instead of having Whirlwind Attack, she can stun, which is fairly good. We've got Terrence, who is our support character. Okay. And okay, he's going to be able to cure and heal and bless. See, look at that. That's one of the potions from WoW. And Patricia is our mage, who can do shock, terror, and an icy wave. Okay. Alright, let's go upstairs then. Got a couple things here. Let's take a look to the right. Stonehouse has set up this bedroom for you. It's crude, but it's clean. You make a noble effort to look for good qualities. You fail. It's terrible here. If you want to make time go forward quickly, use your bed. Oh dear, is time going to be something that's going to be a problem for us? That's more than a little concerning. Okay, so, copper bits. I get, you know what? Hold on. Definitely put the leather cap on. Definitely put the leather armor on. I kind of want to split these things up a bit. You have a bronze spear already, so you're good. You can't use a... Nope, you can't. You're using an iron short blade. You have a bronze dagger. This weapon will do half damage. You haven't built enough smithies to maintain it. We've already got a crude bow. You can do that. And... what is an amethyst orb? Tier 1 arcane gear. Oh! This is a defensive item. Absorbs damage. And we've got an... okay. That's fair. That's good for defense against magic. Okay! That's actually nice. So, the two different types of armor protect different ways. Whether regular armor protects from physical damage mainly, but robes and the like protect from magical damage. Interesting. Alright, I'm going to give you the crude bow so that you have it. You're going to stick with the iron short blade. Oh! Now our pack is much bigger. I see. I guess we're going to put these things here. Is this in everyone else's pack? It is actually a shared pack. Interesting. Okay, is this ranged? Yeah, wand bolt. Interesting. Okay, we have gear. This is a workshop where the fort does business and keeps records. There are a few books on pedestals. At least there is some civilization in this ruin. A sage, dressed in tattered and unfashionable robes, goes about his business. He hasn't noticed you yet. He might be helpful, if for nothing else, in activating the portal to get home. We'll speak to him first and then look at the books. You meet one of the many sages of Haven, who gather knowledge about all of your lands and vassal states. Usually they reside in colleges or cities, not in dirty, besieged forts like this one. He recognizes you the moment he sees you. He gives you a grand, deep kneel. Welcome to this unhappy fort, Prince. I am Sage Harlan. All of my knowledge is at your disposal. The Queen demands that this colony be restored. I am relieved to hear it. We have been balanced for some time on the edge of total destruction. If you would help us, I suggest talking to Chief Miranda downstairs. There is an urgent situation to attend to. I need rest and equipment. As soon as your butler arrived, we arranged the best possible quarters for you. They are across the hall. You can rest in your bed. Some weaponry and other equipment was left in your chest. I need to use the portal home, immediately. I see. I hope that you can make it home. Our humble problems and impending disaster should not concern royalty such as yourself. However, we lack the resources to activate the portal. To rebuild our ability to gather them, you should talk to Chief Miranda downstairs. I want to know about the 3 nations of Sacramentum. I know much and can guide you well. However, we lack the strength to help you deal with those powers. To regain what we have lost, you may need to talk to Chief Miranda downstairs. Okay then. I guess we won't know much from him. Let's read these books. Sacramentum. It is the year 530 of the Empire. 100 years earlier, the ships of Haven discovered the continent of Sacramentum. It was a small land, occupied by 3 squabbling nations. It was simple for Haven to play them against each other, drawing tribute from each of its 3 new vassal states in return for protection against the others. Sacramentum was one of Haven's smaller possessions, but valued nonetheless for its unique crafts. Queen Sharon even visited it in her youth, in year 491, almost 40 years earlier. Then, 20 years ago, early in Sharon's reign, Haven's colony in Sacramentum failed. Haven's crops died. Its livestock sickened. As one, the three nations of Sacramentum closed their gates to Haven's soldiers and refused to provide trade and tribute. The walls of Haven's forts began to crumble. It was as if the soil itself turned against our empire. Such an insult must never be borne by Haven, but other matters forced Sharon to delay her response. Many have quietly waited for her to reclaim her fallen colony. This loss happened under her watch, and she has seemed eager to reverse it. Haven's secrets of power. The true founders of Haven created the pattern of their domination. Look for lands full of small, warring powers. Ally with the most powerful one, and give it the magic and weaponry needed to defeat its enemies. In return, once this chosen faction takes power, demand trade and partial control of that nation, making it a vassal state. If the nation ever tries to back out of the deal, ally with one of its rivals and help Haven's new friend destroy the disobedient former vassal state. Then demand loyalty from the shattered nation that remains. Sacramentum once contained 3 vassal states, Ukat, Ariel, and the Vol. When the calamity happened, these peoples violated their treaties and expelled Haven. The Empire of Haven. Haven is one of the greatest powers in the known lands. It is an empire and not shy about admitting it. Its conquests are not gained by war, usually, but by diplomacy, cunning, and clever use of its small but highly disciplined military and powerful wizards. In its early days, Haven was one of many small, wild, violent city-states. More disciplined, more cautious, but still one of many. Haven has its own warriors and wizards. They fight, and very well. However, there are not enough of them to conquer the world by force of arms. Thus, it is by alliances that Haven grows. That is why Haven's symbol is the scroll. Haven makes deals, and it lives by them. Haven buys the independence of smaller powers, and it is brutal when they try to regain it. Interesting. So it is not... So, while we do conquer, our conquering attempts aren't the standard way you would expect one to conquer. This is interesting. You don't see that as much. Not in fantasy and the like. What else do we have here? Buy buildings and shop. And place buildings and shop. The chief of the fort needs to tell us how to do this. Yeah, I can see that there's plenty around here. I see 3 buildings up here. There's 2 buildings over here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we have 8 buildings that we'll be able to create. So this is going to be interesting. But first we need to get the materials, and for that we need to go north to regain that little fort. What was it called again? Ah yes, Great Port. And that is going to happen in the next episode, because this one has gone on long enough. So, until then, I'm Chester44. That is Rupert. The other 3, whose names I forgot at the moment. That is Rupert, Elspeth, Terence, and Patricia. I can actually edit them. Oh, I can edit them if I wanted to. But I'll keep them with the characters they give me. That is Rupert, Elspeth, Terence, and Patricia. This has been a Let's Play of Queen's Wish, the Conqueror, and I shall see you all next time.